Hey guys, so you were assigned your Cartographer's Challenge project, which is your first excuse me, project for the second unit and also the first major grade for the second unit. So I decided to make a video and make an example project so that if you ever get confused or you forget part of the directions or you have a question or whatever over the next couple of weeks that you have to do this project at home, you can log on to the Weebly and watch the video and also look at my examples. Or my example. I only made one. So first, what is the project? So what you're going to do is design and create your own country. It can be anything you want it to be. It just has to apply the 5 themes of geography. It has to be on Earth. It can be anywhere on Earth, but it has to be on Earth. And your country also has to have some type of theme to it. So the first part of your project is the map itself. So what your country actually looks like, the different parts of it, the features of it. And as you can see on your direction sheet, which hopefully you're looking at your direction sheet as you're watching this video and following along, you have 8 things that you have to have. You have to have the map title telling the theme, author, date, legend or key, compass, rose. You have to draw your map with latitude and longitude lines for the absolute location because that is part of this project. A scale, and you have to show 5 features on your map, and it needs to be colorful. Then you have your written component, and there are 5 parts to your written component, and each of those parts is one of the 5 themes of geography. Each one, some you have to write 1 paragraph, some you have to write 2 paragraphs, but no matter how many paragraphs you have to write, it needs to be 3 to 5 sentences per theme. So you're going to separate it out, and you'll see my picture of it. You're going to separate it out, and you're going to write location, and then you're going to write 3 to 5 sentences about the absolute and relative location of your country. Then you're going to title another section, region, and you're going to write another paragraph about the region. Then you're going to have a third section, name place. You have to write 2 paragraphs for place, and each paragraph needs to be 3 to 5 sentences. And then you're going to do the same thing for movement and HEI. Also on the back, it tells you the materials that you needed. So you need a file folder, which was given to you in class, but if you lose your file folder, it is up to you to replace it. You need just like regular paper, so notebook paper or computer paper. You need graph paper, colored pencils, and or markers. I do recommend colored pencils or markers and not crayons. Crayons are just kind of messy and it won't make it look as nice and neat. And then glue and or tape. For your project, I don't mind if you type all of the written part. Please type all of the written part, especially if you don't have the neatest of handwriting. It'll just make it easier on you and me. So if you want to type everything, go for it. You can even type your legend and add like the colors and symbols once you print it out. It's up to you. At the bottom of this, on the back of the second page, you can see in the second picture, you have the grading rubric. It tells you it's broken down by the map and the written component, the points possible for each of the parts of your project. It also has a peer evaluation points column. So the day your project's due in a couple of weeks, you'll swap maps with a neighbor. The neighbor will give you the points they think that you got on the project, and then you'll turn your project into me, and I'll go back in and grade your projects and then assign you the points that you earned by what you did or didn't do. So that's the instruction rubric direction piece of it all. So let me take you through my example. So I decided to make Whale Island, the land of the whales. So everything on my island has to do with whales, and everything's named after a different type of whale or part of a whale or like what they eat. So in the first picture, you have the title and the theme, which is the title is The Whale Island, Land of the Whales. You don't have to put a picture on your title page. I just did because that's what I wanted to do. And then at the bottom, it has my name, the date, and the period. So on the very front of my folder, I just printed out my title page and I glued it on. Then I opened my I opened my folder, and on the inside of the first flap, I guess you can call the folder, I put my legend. So you can see I titled it Legend, and then I have all the things that represented on my map along with what they look like on the map. And then the third picture is my country itself, which is on the second inside flap of the folder. In this first picture on this slide, this is where I had typed all of my written component out, and each of them is 3 to 5 sentences, and they're all separated by the title of the theme, and I then glue this on the very back of my file folder. And then that's pretty much what your project is going to look like. Now for a close-up of the different parts of the example that I made. So you can see I have my scale. I took a ruler when it came to measuring and drawing my lines of latitude and longitude, which you can also see in this picture and also the picture next to it. I did it in a thin Sharpie so that it wasn't like too big and bulky, but it was also very easy to see that I drew the lines of latitude and longitude. I highly suggest you use like a black Sharpie or a black colored pencil or a black marker, not pencil, because once you start coloring, even if you're using colored pencils, the pencil mark it's not going to show up. And then you can see I have my compass rose in one of the bottom corners. You can also see my measurements of latitude, and then also you can even see where I have, I named my ocean, Beluga Ocean. Here's more parts of the project. So you can see in the first project, you can see more lines of latitude, the lake, the statues, a couple of the cities, some roads, and even part of my one of my rivers. In the middle picture, you can see that again, you can see my mountains, another river in town, and I also put my name first and last and my class period on the tab that like sticks up out of the file folder. You will need to do that as well. And then in the third picture, I have my title and theme again at the very top of my paper. And then here is just another close-up of like the mountains and the rivers and the towns and the roads. And I put in there the lake and the statues and a couple of the other same cities. But you can see in all the pictures, it's very easy to see my lines of latitude and longitude. And again, just more parts. I have my capital, Orca City, my ocean, and then my Gulf of Gray Whale. So like I said, your country can be about anything that you want. Killer whales are my favorite animal, so I just decided to make a whale island because that's what I liked. Or if you can't think of anything or you're not, a great drawer, I'm not a great drawer, but I just took my time and I tried to make it as good as I could. Just draw it doesn't have to be perfect, but you can just draw what you think an island or a country would look like. And just make sure that when you're writing, you also not only are talking about your country, but you, based on where on the world your country is, that when you talk about like place and region, you're showing it in relation to other countries around you. Or if you decide to put yourself in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, you want to talk about how the ocean surrounding you affects your country. If you are bordering another country, you want to talk about how maybe that country helps you with importing resources and or food, or people can travel there. Um, you know, just make sure that you're not only talking about your country, you're talking about your country in relation to the other places around it as well, which in class you are always more than welcome. My example will be up the whole time to go through and read my written components and just make sure that you are including the same details. So I hope this video helps. Like always, if you have any questions, please, please, please ask me. Please, ask me after you're done with your warm-up or during deer time. Or right when class, like right at the beginning when we're waiting for the bell for class to start, please ask me. Do not wait until like a day or two before your project is due to ask me. Try to time management your stuff and make sure you're planning everything out so that you're not rushing and trying to do this whole project in one night. So again, I hope this helps, and I hope you have a ton of fun making your own country. I had a ton of fun making my own country. So hope you enjoy yourself, and I can't wait to see all of your projects.